Do you think you know everything about your spouse? You're wrong! At the end of this video, you will learn shocking news that may relate to your loved one. This story has shocked millions of people and it will change your ideas about love and trust. Watch it to the end. Chapter 1. The Watcher. The first camera was small, so small it could be mistaken for a button lost in the couch cushions. Emma pressed it into the corner of the bookshelf, angling it just right to capture the living room in its entirety. Her fingers trembled as she connected it to her phone, the app blinking to life with a grainy, silent feed. There, now I'll know. It wasn't the first time she'd done this. 2 years ago, she'd planted a tracker on her ex's car after he started working late too often. She'd been right then. The proof had been a gutting series of texts and a hotel receipt tucked in his glove box. Now, with Daniel, the signs were different. Subtler. The way his phone screen tilted away when she walked by. The hushed calls he took in the other room. His voice dropping to a whisper. The sudden business trips he never used to take. Emma told herself she wasn't being paranoid, she was being smart. The apartment felt different now, like the walls were holding their breath. The soft hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floorboards, even the flicker of the streetlights outside everything felt like a clue waiting to be uncovered. She adjusted another camera above the kitchen doorway, her reflection in the dark lens staring back at her. Tired eyes, a tense jaw. If he's innocent, I'll stop. But if he's not... Her phone buzzed. A notification from the camera app. Connection lost. Emma frowned. She tapped the screen. Nothing. The feed was black. She checked the router. Still on. She refreshed the app. Still dead. A cold prickle ran down her spine. Did he find it? Chapter 2. The Glitches. The second camera failed an hour later. Then the third. Emma sat on the edge of the bed, staring at her phone in disbelief. All 3 feeds were dark. No error messages. No explanations, just silence. Daniel was at work. She'd checked. He couldn't have tampered with them. Unless... Her mind raced. Was he that careful? Had he somehow known? She paced the bedroom, her nails digging into her palms. The air felt thick, suffocating. The apartment, once warm and familiar, now seemed like a stage, every object a prop, every shadow hiding a lie. She needed better cameras. Ones he couldn't disable. That night, she pretended to sleep as Daniel climbed into bed beside her, his breathing steady and calm. Too calm. She waited until she was certain he was asleep, then slipped out, heading for her laptop. A new surveillance order. Infrared. Motion activated. No Wi-Fi, just local storage. This time, I won't miss a thing. The next morning, she ran errands, giving herself just enough time to hide the new devices. Beneath the coffee table, inside the lampshade. Even one in the bedroom, tucked behind the frame of their vacation photo. She held her breath as she synced them to her phone. Let's see you hide from this. But by sunset, the feeds glitched again. First, the bedroom camera froze just for a second, but long enough to miss whatever Daniel had been doing near the closet. Then, the living room feed cut out entirely. Emma's stomach twisted. He knows. He has to. That night, she barely slept. Every rustle of the sheets, every shift of Daniel's weight, felt deliberate, like he was waiting for her to slip up. She needed answers. Now. The next day, while Daniel was in the shower, she grabbed his phone. Her hands shook as she typed in his passcode. His birthday, he'd never changed it. Her heart pounded as she scrolled through his messages. Nothing. No suspicious texts. No calls from unknown numbers. Then her breath caught. A draft email. Subject: ring size confirmation. Her vision blurred as she read the words. Just double-checking the sizing, you said 6.5, right? Don't want to mess this up. Almost ready for the big day. Emma's pulse roared in her ears. The cameras. The secrecy. The hushed calls. All this time, the shower shut off. She dropped the phone. Chapter 3. The Static Between Us. Emma barely had time to shove Daniel's phone back onto the nightstand before the bathroom door creaked open. Steam curled into the bedroom as he stepped out. Towel slung low on his hips, his hair still dripping. "You're up early," he said, smiling. Her throat tightened. Ring-size confirmation. The words burned in her mind. "Couldn't sleep." She lied. She watched him closely as he dressed. Was there a new tension in his shoulders? A flicker of hesitation when he glanced at her? Or was she imagining it? The cameras were still failing. The one in the living room had cut out again last night, right as Daniel lingered near the bookshelf. The bedroom feed had glitched at 2:17 a.m., just long enough for a gap in the recording. And now, as she checked her phone under the table during breakfast, the kitchen camera was frozen on a single frame. Daniel pouring coffee, his back turned. Why does it keep happening when he's in the room? She needed to know what the cameras weren't catching. Chapter 4. The Lies We Tell Ourselves. The next few days were a minefield of half-truths. Daniel left for work early, claiming a meeting. Emma called his office reception, said he wasn't in until noon. Lie. He came home with a receipt from a jewelry store crumpled in his pocket. When she accidentally found it while doing laundry, he shrugged. Just getting my watch resized. Lie. Then there was the phone call. She'd been pretending to nap on the couch when Daniel's phone buzzed. He stepped onto the balcony, his voice low. Yeah, it's almost ready. No, she can't know yet. Emma's nails dug into the couch cushions. That night, she installed another camera this time, inside the balcony light fixture. But by morning, the feed was nothing but static. Her paranoia spiraled. Was he jamming them? Did he have some kind of device, some way to block her from seeing what he was really doing? She Googled it. How to disable hidden cameras. Signal blockers. Spyware detection. The results made her stomach churn. Then, the final straw. Daniel left his laptop open. Emma hesitated for only a second before clicking through his recent files. A folder labeled Trip Itinerary. Inside, a reservation confirmation. Lakeview Cabin. 2 nights. Next weekend. Her heart stopped. A romantic getaway. A proposal spot. Or a cover story. Because right beneath it was another file. A photo. A woman. Blonde. Smiling. Emma didn't recognize her. Her vision tunneled. Who the hell is this? She slammed the laptop shut just as Daniel walked in. Hey, he said, tilting his head. You okay? Emma forced a smile. Yeah, just work stuff. He kissed her forehead, his lips warm, familiar. Liar. She waited until he left the room before reopening the laptop, her fingers shaking. But the file was gone. Chapter 5. The Algorithm of Distrust. Emma's Instagram feed had become a minefield. Every other post was another story about infidelity. A viral thread about a woman who discovered her fiancé's secret apartment through a misplaced AirTag. A trending podcast dissecting the psychology of cheaters. Even a news segment about how dating apps were making long-term relationships impossible. The world seemed to be screaming at her. Trust no one. She refreshed her phone again, thumb hovering over another article. How gaslighting makes you question reality. Daniel had insisted just last night that the Wi-Fi issues were from the building's outdated router, not from him interfering. But then why did the cameras only fail when he was home? Her coworker Jess slid into the chair next to her at lunch. You look like you haven't slept in days. Emma stabbed at her salad. Just relationship stuff. Jess lowered her voice. Did you check his Snapchat? He doesn't use Snapchat. That's what they all say. Jess smirked, tapping her phone. My cousin's boyfriend had a whole second life on Finsta. You'd be surprised what people hide. Emma's stomach twisted. She hadn't checked his Snapchat. That night, she set up a new camera, this one disguised as a phone charger, plugged in near the couch. No Wi-Fi, just local recording. Let's see him disable this. But when she woke up the next morning, the charger was unplugged. And Daniel was already gone. Chapter 6. The Devil in the Details. The Lakeview Cabin reservation was for next weekend. Emma marked it in her calendar, then circled it twice in red. She needed a plan. First, she'd check his car's GPS history. Then, she'd follow him to work. If he really was going to the office, fine. But if he wasn't, her phone buzzed. A notification from the banking app she'd linked to Daniel's account. A shared expenses excuse she'd used months ago. 1,200 pending Lumiere Jewelers. Her breath caught. The ring. But then why the photo of the blonde woman? Why the secret calls? She scrolled back through his transactions. Another charge, 2 weeks ago. 350, the Hideaway Lounge. A quick search revealed it was a boutique hotel bar downtown. Date night? Or a meeting with her? Emma's hands shook as she pulled up the camera feeds. The living room was empty. The bedroom was still, but the kitchen feed... There. Daniel walked into frame, his back to the camera. He pulled something from his pocket. A small box. Emma's pulse spiked. He opened it. A glint of silver. Not a ring. A key. Then the feed cut out. Chapter 7. The Breaking Point. Emma couldn't take it anymore. The key, the blonde woman, the cabin reservation, the jewelry store charges. It all pointed to one thing. Daniel was living a double life. She waited until he left for his business trip the same weekend as the Lakeview cabin reservation, then broke into his locked desk drawer with a bobby pin. Inside, she found a folded map, a receipt for a custom engagement ring, and a printed photo of the blonde woman. Her hands trembled as she flipped it over. To Daniel, thanks for making Mom's anniversary so special, Lissa. Lissa, his sister, the one who lived abroad, the one she'd never met. Emma's stomach dropped. Then she saw the map, marked locations near the cabin, a hiking trail, a lookout point called Lover's Peak. And then her phone buzzed. A notification from the last working camera she'd hidden in Daniel's car. A reckless move, but she was past caring. The GPS showed him heading away from the cabin, toward the city, toward the Hideaway Lounge. Her vision blurred with tears. He lied. Again. She grabbed her keys. Chapter 8. The Truth in Static. The Hideaway Lounge was dimly lit, all velvet booths and flickering candles. Emma's heart pounded as she scanned the room, then froze. There he was. Daniel. Sitting across from the blonde woman. Lissa. They were laughing, leaning over something on the table. A small box. Emma's breath hitched. The ring. She stepped closer, her pulse roaring in her ears. Then, the box opened. Not a ring. A set of keys. Lissa grinned, pulling out her phone. She's going to freak when she sees the house. Daniel ran a hand through his hair, nervous. If I can ever actually surprise her. She's been so on edge lately. Lissa smirked. Well, maybe stop acting like a serial killer with all the secret trips and whispering? Emma's entire body went cold. The house, the key, the cabin. It wasn't an affair. It was a home. Their home? And the proposal? The camera in his car suddenly glitched, the feed cutting out as Daniel turned toward the door. Toward her. Chapter 9. The Moment of Truth. Emma stood frozen in the doorway of the Hideaway Lounge, her heart hammering against her ribs. Daniel and Lissa were still hunched over the table, flipping through what she now realized were floor plans. Then Daniel looked up. Their eyes locked. His face went pale. Emma? She wanted to run. She wanted to scream. But her feet stayed rooted to the spot as he rushed toward her, confusion and panic flashing across his face. What are you doing here? He asked, reaching for her hand. Emma jerked back. I could ask you the same thing. Her voice shook. All the lies, the secret trips, the cameras. Daniel's eyes widened. Cameras? Lissa groaned, rubbing her temples. Oh my God. You seriously thought he was cheating? Emma's face burned. I saw the photo. That was me, Lissa said, exasperated. I sent that as a thank you after he helped me plan Mom's anniversary party. You know, the one you couldn't go to because of work? Daniel ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. Then, slowly, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Emma's breath caught. He didn't open it. Not yet. I bought a house, he said quietly. Well, almost. I wanted it to be a surprise. The cabin trip was to finalize everything. The keys were supposed to be part of the proposal. He glanced at the cameras still glitching in his car outside. But you thought I was... what? Meeting someone? Emma's throat tightened. The weight of her mistakes crashed over Hertha's spine. The distrust, the certainty that history was repeating itself. Daniel opened the box. The ring glittered under the lounge's soft lighting, a delicate band with a single diamond, simple and perfect. "I wanted to ask you somewhere that mattered," he said. "Not just some restaurant, our home." He swallowed hard. "But now I'm asking here, in the middle of my mess, because—" His voice cracked. "Because I love you, even when you don't trust me." Emma's vision blurred. She had been so sure. And she had been so wrong. Chapter 10. The After. The ring felt foreign on Emma's finger. Not because it didn't fit, but because she didn't know if she deserved it. She sat on their apartment floor the next night, dismantling the last of the cameras. The tiny lenses stared back at her like accusatory eyes. Daniel watched from the couch, silent. "I'm sorry," she said for the 100th time. He didn't answer right away. Then, "I get it," he murmured. "After what happened with your ex, I'd be paranoid too." Emma shook her head. "It wasn't just that." She hesitated. "It was the world. Every headline, every story, it felt like everyone was getting betrayed. And I just assumed you would too." Daniel stood, crossing the room to kneel beside her. He took the camera from her hands and tossed it into the trash. "Next time," he said softly, "just ask." Emma laughed wetly. "Next time?" He kissed her forehead. "Yeah. Next time you think I'm plotting something sinister, remember." He held up his phone, showing a recent search. "How to make a surprise proposal. Romantic and not sketchy." Emma burst into tears. And for the first time in months, she didn't check the cameras. She didn't need to. What do you think about this story? Write in the comments, subscribe, and wait for the next video. It will show you the true essence of a person who shocks you. If you don't subscribe, you will make a huge mistake.